Hi moms and dads, it's a beautiful day and a warm welcome to another episode of Today's Parent, where we connect you with experts and provide you with information to make your parenting journey a bit more easier. I'm your host, Christine Casina. In today's episode, we are going to talk about one of the most important things when it comes to raising our children, building their confidence. We are going to talk about self-esteem and how we can build the self-esteem of our children. In studio today, we have Yvonne Okeo, who is passionate about children, the youth, and building their self-esteem. Welcome to today's show.
Thank you.
Yvonne.
Yes.
What a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Yeah.
How did you get to this point where one of your passions is seeing our children grow up as confident individuals?
Good question. When I was a little bit younger than I am today, I had a lot of issues to find my identity, especially when I was developing into a teenager. And when you want to find your identity, so many things could go wrong. So many people could come in the way and advise you. And if you don't listen to your inner self, so many things could go wrong. And I made a few mistakes that I have corrected now in my adulthood. And it's my passion. I promised myself that my mission in life would be to raise a generation of bold and self-aware youths. And I do that through teaching them how to master their self-esteem, how to be individuals without impressing other people or doing things because their friends are putting a lot of pressure on them.
Well put.
Yeah.
Why is it important for us to build a self-esteem for our children, even before we get to our youth? Why is it important to set that foundation?
Okay, even before I answer that, I would like to say that self-esteem is the ability of a child to appreciate themselves when they do good, criticize themselves when they do wrong, and positively bounce back on life each time they mess.
Let's take it slowly. So let's start with the definition. Self-esteem is?
The ability of a child to positively correct themselves.
Themselves.
Yes, when they do right.
Wow.
Yeah. Because it's normal, or it's sometimes kids will just want to be told umefanya vizuri even if they have not done something right. So if a child can positively say that I have done this and they know that it's right
without needing validation.
Without anyone validating them, and they correct themselves when they make a mistake, they say, okay, this one I have gone overboard, I should have done it like this or like this, and then knowing that, okay, fine, I have messed up and I should get back on track. So the positive attitude they put back when they're getting back right, on how they bounce back after making a mistake is very, very important. So for me, those three words are what makes of all forms the body of a self-esteem. For a child, for an adult, a young person, and any other person who wants to grow themselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And why is it important? Why is it important for us, children, the youth, even adults to have a healthy sense of self-esteem?
Number one, it's because it helps us to become more confident and more firm in our decision making. It helps us to relate well with people. And number three, I think the most important thing for self-confidence is that it helps us to make healthy choices. A lot of young people now all over the news are making unhealthy choices. You hear someone committed suicide because they were told something wrong, or someone committed suicide because they saw something negative on social media. So it's very important for our children to learn the essence of having a strong self-esteem.
How do you get to the point? I'm trying to relate it back to your story. When you felt that I need to do something about my self-esteem, how did you get to that point where you are aware this is something I need to work on, something is off?
Great. I used to have a lot of, for a very long time I was a prisoner of, not in the local cells in our country, but a prisoner of people's opinions. What people say about me really used to affect me so much that I wouldn't be authentic or genuine. So in my opinion, in search of that freedom, I decided to go, and I went to a personal leadership academy, which I salute all the academies that are helping people to do that. Through that academy, I got to help myself, to master my esteem, to be confident. And today, I can tell you for free that whatever I do it because I believe I have the strength, I have the power, and I use a lot of affirmation on myself to tell myself that you got it, you can do it, you're strong. And each time I tell myself that, I find myself that I silence a lot of negativity, and that is what I really wish to show parents how they can help their children to build their self-esteem.
Okay, we throw around that word, authenticity. And people say, I'm an authentic person. But when you say you then learn to become authentic, what does authenticity mean?
Good. Authenticity means being true to yourself.
true to yourself.
Yes, whether you are not as perfect as you wish to be, whether you are as perfect as you think you are,
Yeah.
be authentic with yourself. Because the
Yeah.
moment you begin to lie to yourself, tell yourself, create a lot of hallucinations in your head that I'm a superhero, I'm better than everyone, then you become a narcissist. You understand? But
Yeah.
if you understand that, okay, I have a big tummy, I'm trying to work on it, and you put a lot of progress to grow that, then you're becoming authentic with yourself. You understand?
Yeah.
But if you have a big tummy and you keep saying, "Oh, I have a flat tummy," my sister, you are lying to yourself. You understand? Yes.
Would you say then self-esteem, you can link it back to a healthy, having healthy self-talk with yourself?
Yes.
Because like you say, we hear all these things in our minds, and having that voice that speaks back to you. Normally, it's a very low voice. That even if you have that tummy, you're beautiful the way you are. You are intelligent. You have so many things going on for you. This is not the only thing that you need to focus on, and then you highlight it. Self-talk, is it important?
It is. Personally, I call myself for a meeting, criticize myself when I've done wrong, appreciate myself when I have done right. And self-talk is one of the things that really, if someone, whoever is key on growing themselves,
Yeah.
it's important to have that self-talk with yourself. Maybe you are huge on spending. Maybe you're huge on impulse buying. You just carelessly do things. And sometimes you feel like what I'm doing is not right. It's very important at the end of the day, sit yourself down and ask yourself, what goals did I set?
Right.
Did I achieve them? What was the hindrance?
Yeah.
Then if you can be able to evaluate yourself and correct yourself from that point, then I believe you will have a positive self-esteem,
Yeah.
and you will start growing yourself the right way.
Yeah.
You understand?
Well put.
Yeah, yeah.
If we're talking about low self-esteem, how would you define low self-esteem, and how does it show in our youth, in our children?
Great. I handle a lot of young people, and
What age, by the way?
I deal with children in high school and children in primary school.
Okay.
But I also help young professionals. So people, I think, let me just say, young teens to people less than 35 years.
Right.
Yes. That's the area I work with, and
Okay.
most of the time when I see how a person walks, I will know that this person is depressed, or this person has a low self-esteem, because they will always be shy. They don't want to sit around with people. They just want to have their own space. I'm not saying that everyone who wants their own space.
You see where I'm going?
It means they have low self-esteem. But what I'm trying to say is that people who want to always seclude themselves and they're not happy, they're always sad. When you see someone like that, it would be someone said something that is affecting them, or it's because they're not appreciating, or they feel insecure about something in them.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Do you think, Yvonne, I can be shy, but my self-esteem is healthy and I'm a confident person?
Yes. There are people who are shy who really avoid eye contact.
But
But they're very confident. But there are people who, just the way they walk with their head hanging low.
Yeah.
They feel all the time they have a conversation with you, they're having conversations of committing suicide. Someone like that who is always sad and having negative self-talk, starting to think about killing themselves, that is one person who has a low self-esteem. And for kids, it's even easy to identify, because kids are I think the most authentic people in this world are kids, because they will never hide their emotions. If they're sad, they're sad. If they're excited, they're excited.
That's
if
true.
they're angry, they're angry.
That's true.
And so for a parent who really wants to know their kids, I think you can first learn your child's body language.
So number one, from a child's body language, you can tell they have low self-esteem.
Yes, from their facial expression, from their words, from the way they relate with
What kind of words?
Sometimes they say, "Missy pendwi."
Oh, wow.
That translated means "me, I'm not loved." Or they say, "I want to kill myself." Or all the time they they keep regretting, I wish I was not born in this family. It's either they're not being given compliments, or they're not being cared for. If children feel that they're not cared for, they're not secure and loved, then believe you me, their self-esteem automatically goes down.
Goes down.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Any other pointers on self-esteem? How we can pick them out if our children are going through something? A parent watching right now, if there are any other pointers you can share, how to pick out a child has low self-esteem, or even the youth, what other pointers can you share?
I would say look at the friends they relate with. Are they people with the kind of company they keep will tell you the kind of child you are raising.
Yeah.
So if a child is always hanging with people who may be children who are always moody, doing drugs, kids who are always found in bad company, then you need to know that your child has a low self-esteem. They want to go there so that they can feel they can belong.
Like
but
they
a
fit
child,
in.
yeah, but a child who has a strong self-esteem will be able to say this group is bad and I'm not going to be in this group. So it's very also important to understand the associations of your child as a parent. Know who their friends are, know where they go with their friends, what do they do. You understand? Once you take time to learn that, then you will be able to tell where your child's confidence level is.
Okay. Yeah. Yvonne, I have another question for you. If you want to pick up, we've talked about if a child has low self-esteem, these are the signs and, the things you can pick out on, which most of the time are behavioral. When your child has a good self-esteem, a healthy sense of self, how do you know that they're doing okay?
Number one, you'll see their mood. They'll be overexcited. But when I say that, I'm also aware that there are kids with bipolar disorder. Bipolar disorder comes in two ways. The one that they show the excitement side and the one that shows the moody side.
Yeah.
But a child who is generally happy, who generally appreciates their colleagues, gives positive feedback or addresses their friends with respect, that is a child who has a positive self-esteem. A child who is quick to say, I'm sorry. A child who is quick to say, thank you. That is a child who is aware that,
nice.
Yeah, if I appreciate you, then you'll also appreciate me. So if you see your child always speaking positively about people, happy, your child is in a good mood, they always speak of, they want to grow their talent, that is a child who has a very, very high self-esteem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You had mentioned it at the beginning, the difference between narcissism and self-esteem, because we are trying to raise confident kids, but then you don't want to raise a child who is arrogant.
True.
Who then is disrespectful. Where do you draw the line between having a healthy self-esteem, being confident, and being outright, being a child who's a narcissist or a youth who's a narcissist?
That's a very good question. I think the first point is tell your child, remind them every single morning that you're special. You're special because you treat people well. You're special because when you tell them they're special, mention the specific thing why you're saying that. And then tell them that whatever makes you special may differ from the second or third child.
Yeah.
But still those kids are also special.
Yeah.
So if you're interacting with them, know that their mothers also see them as special children. So when your child goes to interact with people and they know that we are all special, then they will not be boastful to other people. Number two, as a parent, I think when your child goes to an environment that is not familiar to them, because I know that there are kids who've been raised in very good homes. They've been given the best lifestyles that they can get. But at some point, they have to go to boarding schools. So a boarding school is an unfamiliar environment for your child.
Absolutely.
So when they go to an environment like that, tell them that it's okay to go and follow the rules. It's okay to listen to the people who are there. Mom may not be there, but the people who are there mean well for you. So if you remind your child all these things and then you tell them to be empathetic. Empathy is one thing that is missing, I think, in this world, because if there was empathy, then we wouldn't be hearing cases of people killing their loved ones, doing stuff like that. So I think it's important for parents to teach our children to be empathetic, to speak kindly to other people because they don't know what other kids may be going through.
Absolutely.
Today's parents will nod in agreement with me that not all kids are born with the same ability. Some
Yes.
are born with disorders.
Absolutely.
So if you see a child who is maybe not able to speak as fluently as you can, be polite to them, be kind to them. And when you teach your child these key life skills values, then believe you me, you'll end up with a more confident but not a narcissist.
Well put. And on that note, we're going to take a short break. And then when you come back from the break, you can share pointers with the parents on how to raise confident children with a high sense of self-esteem and a healthy one, of course.
Yeah, true.
And with that, we're going to take a short break. In studio today, we have Yvonne Okeo, who's passionate about the youth and kids and building their self-esteem. One thing that she has shared, we can teach our children to simply be kind. Kindness is missing in this age and time. And as we build their confidence, let's remember to teach our children to be kind. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to today's episode of Today's Parent, where we have Yvonne Okeo. We are talking about how we can raise the self-esteem of our children. We are back from the break, and we are glad you're still with us. Yvonne,
yes.
As we're coming back from the break, we have a question that has come from Eunice. Her question is, my child is shy. How do I help them build their confidence?
Great question. I think the first thing that for any parent is to teach your child affirmation. Affirmation is telling themselves positive words like I am strong, I am pretty, I am able. And each time your child, you tell your child to say these things to themselves, they are slowly killing that inner
that
voice.
shyness.
Yes, and that inner voice that keeps telling them that, you know what, you're not worthy,
Wow.
you're not loved. And when when we reduce the volume of self-criticism, then we will end up with a very strong, confident child.
Well put.
Yeah.
Well put. So let's go to the point of how to build the self-esteem of our children. Starting with the young ones going into the youth. Break it down for us. How do we do it for the younger children?
Number one is to make them feel loved, valued, and secure. When a child
Loved, valued, and secure.
Yes. When a child feel like they're loved and they're cared for, when they feel like they're valued and they're in a secure environment, that child automatically will want to connect with the parents, want to connect with others. That is a child who is also secure of their emotions.
Yeah.
But each time a child is with the parent and they always see you holding a stick, you're always harsh, having red bloodshot eyes, the child feels insecure, you know. But if you can tell your child that, you know what, even if you have a problem, you can trust me with your emotion. That security is very important for children as young as 2 years, 3 years, because at that age, that is when they're beginning to speak. And we want them to speak the right things, the right emotions.
And in a confident way.
Yeah, exactly. So I think for me, that is very important. Yes.
Okay. Any other pointers?
The third thing I would like to tell parents to teach their kids is to journal. Especially, let's say a child who's now in class 7 years old.
Right.
Teach them how to journal their day. What was so special about this day? When they start to write their day from the way they woke up, the time they went to school, what they had for breakfast, it's slowly developing their thought process. They're beginning to understand, I have to appreciate the fact that we all have good life. I have to appreciate the fact that I'm able to go to school.
Yeah.
I have to appreciate the fact that mom and dad are still here, because I know today's parents, some of them are single parents,
Yeah.
some of them are separated by distance. They have gone to work, so maybe they not see their kids every single day.
Absolutely.
Yeah, some of them are also orphans. So I think if you teach your child all these things and you tell them how to journal, eventually, gradually, you'll start ending up with a confident child, a child who knows what they want.
Okay.
Tell them also to be polite to people, use kind words. If you're in your child, for example, on Sundays, I see most of the time when I go to public places, I see parents coming with their kids and their kids all over in the supermarket, in a playground. So I think when your child makes a mistake in a public place or even in a private place, I think it's important for you as a parent to correct them with love.
How do we do that?
You don't insult the child. Tell them, baby, you're still loved, but you insulting that child was not right. So I want you to go and say sorry to that child. When you tell them to go and say sorry, they're saying sorry for insulting the child. But if you tell them, you and your big head, every time we come out, you're always causing trouble, that child will feel,
next time
will start crawling, will get into a shell, and they'll be so afraid.
Absolutely.
But if you are keen on pointing out the problem and not insulting the child, then that is correction with love.
So what pointers can you share with a parent at that moment in time where they're losing it, like you said, their eyes are bloodshot, and as a parent, you know, you can lose it.
Exactly.
And today's stresses, as a parent of today, you can really lose it. How do you then bring yourself to that level that you can calm yourself down and separate, you know, the issue from the child and not hurt their self-esteem?
Okay. I want to explain to you a very short analogy. When you're boiling water in the kitchen, and the water is bubbling, and steam is coming out, are you able to see clearly the water?
No.
Because the steam has blinded your eyes. The same principle applies to anger. When you're so angry, anger blinds your eyes and you're not able to see the problem. So I would first advise that parent to calm down. Just let your child be. Move to even a separate environment and cool yourself down. Take water if it's somewhere close
cool
to
down.
where, just auto reset your mood.
Down,
yes.
Right.
And once you do that, I believe that now when you're calm and you're clear, then you go and call your child and tell them, baby, what you did, A, B, C, D. Point out what they did and tell them why it was wrong. Then tell them to go and apologize to that child if that child is still within the vicinity. If they learn to apologize each time they make a mistake, they will not have a grudging heart. They will not go to bed with
with all those
conscience that,
feelings
and
and they disappointed you.
Yes, exactly. So I think it's very important for a parent to first calm down, teach your child explain to them why it is wrong to do that.
Right.
Or if they go to a supermarket and they keep breaking things, tell them, you know what, if you keep breaking everything in the supermarket, mom is not going to buy what I intended to buy for you, because this money I'll use to clear this mess.
Yeah.
Then they will begin to understand, okay, fine, so I need to be respectful when I'm in private, you understand, or in a public place. Yeah.
Well put. For our youth, how can we build their self-esteem? Our young girls, our young boys going through puberty, so many changes, so much influence from social media and their friends. How do you help them keep their self-esteem intact?
Dr. John Gottman, a psychological researcher, an author, and he loves working with kids. In an article he wrote on Gottman Institute, he has an institute. So there's a time he wrote about how parents respond when their kids makes mistake. And he was saying there's one, the disapproving parent. Number two, there's the lazy parent, a parent who does not care how their kids behave.
Wow.
And then the third type of parent is a dismissive parent, a parent who each time their child does a mistake, they're quick to dismiss them. Then the fourth category he speaks about, which I want to use it to answer your question, is the emotional coaching parent. So he says that an emotional coaching parent will want to connect with their child. So if you are raising a youth, they will be, at some point, they'll become so like defiant. You tell them things and they don't want to do. So it's important to understand the phases they go through. Kids go through 4 phases of emotions: anger, joy, happiness, and anxiety.
Anger, joy, happiness, and anxiety.
Yeah, so when you see your child is constantly angry or always happy, sit them down and ask them, what is making you so happy? I would want to know,
Isn't that a good thing?
Yeah, it is, but sometimes they could be happy for maybe they're using drugs, and the drug is making
they're
them,
on a high,
they're so high,
high.
you think they're just happy, So, and sometimes you see a child who is so moody, every time closing herself or himself in the bedroom. So I think when you're able to coach your child's emotion, understand their body language. If it's a youth, take them out separately.
Okay.
Yeah, go with them maybe to the salon, take them to the spa, just to watch the way they behave. If they have a phone already, see who they chat with. Just be that present parent in your child's life. And once you do that, then you'll be able to build their self-esteem. Ask them, why are you so moody? For example, they tell you, so-and-so said that my breasts are big, my hair is short and it's stuffed, I'm not pretty. And then that is the point you get to connect with your child. When your child is vulnerable and they are showing emotions of sadness, that is the time that as a parent, you get to connect, because now you get the opportunity to teach them. Tell them that you're appreciated, you are loved, you're cared for. Whatever people say about you, sometimes it's not true. It's maybe something that's eating them inside, so they want to vent it out on you. So it's not true that you're what they said, but I believe you're ABCD. So when you take time to coach your child's emotion and to work with them and to become a friend, don't always be a parent in your child's life. There's a phase where you'll now have to put the cape of a parent down and become a friend.
Yvonne, at which age are kids more susceptible to have a low self-esteem? Where are they most likely to be most affected?
I think when they're in class 6.
Class 6?
Yeah.
Wow, when puberty is setting in.
Yeah, when puberty is setting in.
Wow, okay.
And they're seeing their friend, because that is the time now they're no longer, they're still kids, but they don't have a childish mind. So that is the time people start maybe telling you, oh, you have fat legs, or you have big hands. That is the time now they also are looking for belonging. And then you find that children who maybe are raised in single families where they're only having their mothers, when they reach that age, they start asking you, where is my dad? For example, if those parents had been divorced or separated, that is the time that a child is so inquisitive. So it is important to start early, so that by the time they get to that class 6, a child who's in class 6 could be any year, because right now they're going to school so fast and they're using the CBC curriculum.
System, yes.
Yeah. So it's I'm not able to say a specific age, but a child who's in class 6 is a child who's already conscious, and that child needs to be taken for therapy by the parent.
Right.
If you don't have a male figure in their life, introduce an uncle or your father or your brother, someone who can also help them to work. If you're raising a boy child or a girl child,
okay.
You understand? Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All
so
right.
at that age, it's very, very important to create a connection with your child.
Okay.
Yeah.
In your practice and in your experience with the kids that you work with, what do they tell you that we can do better as parents in regards to their self-esteem and building their confidence? What can we do better? What do they wish we knew?
That's a good question. Okay. What sometimes I hear them say is that I wish my mom could stop being like a helicopter parent,
Oh.
always stalking me all the
Unafanya?
time.
Unaenda? Unadu?
Uko na nani? Au mnao ni kina nani? It's good sometimes to ask because you want to know. Because again, kids are very funny. They could just disappear in front of you and run away.
That's
but
true.
again, it's important for parents to have a boundary on your strictness. Don't be now too like a cop on your child.
Yeah.
You understand? So sometimes they say, tunakuambia hizi, like sometimes when I talk to them now, they tell me things that they have not even told their parents.
Of course.
Yeah, so they tell me, we're telling you this because you're a friend. Because sometimes I go with that mind of a child. I just want to get to know.
Absolutely.
For not any reason. I'm just curious. Then we laugh about it. But at the end of the day, I'll pick it up and then I'll teach. The next time I'm doing a training, I'll teach on that so that you understand that parents mean well for us. But I wish parents could be strict,
but not overly strict.
Yes.
And not overly hover.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so when parents do that, I think the relationship with their kids will be better from where they are. They'll move their journey to a higher notch.
Right.
Yeah.
Your last pointer for our parents.
Be an emotional coaching parent.
Be an emotionally
coaching parent.
Coaching parent. That is deep. What does that mean?
That means be present in your child's life. Be their first best friend. Always tell them that it's okay to feel like this. It's okay to fail. Teach them how they can bounce back to life. Be a constant image that it's okay. When they see you, they know when mom is around, it's okay.
A good sounding board.
Yes. But even if you help them, always show them that you can also try on your own. Help them, but with boundaries.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But at the end of this, what I would want parents to do is that for your child to be confident, coach their emotions, be present in their lives, become their friends sometimes. Don't start telling them, you ever since you started growing your whatever's, umeanza kuwa na kichwa ngumu. That one they will be defiant like completely defiant. Getting them back on track will take a lot of counseling and a lot of all those things.
Well put.
Yeah.
Thank you, Yvonne.
Yeah.
We thank you for your time. And I know for the parents who are watching, they've learned a lot from you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, we come to the end of today's episode of Today's Parent, where we were talking with Yvonne Okeo, passionate about our youth and our children, empowering them to have a healthy sense of self. We talked about self-esteem, and the one thing she has said when it comes to raising children who have a high self-esteem, be present in their lives. Teach them values that are going to build them. Listen to them. And even when you're punishing them, punish them with love. See how you can keep your children close so that they can talk to you at the time, even when they're adults, young adults, from the time they're kids and to the time they're young adults, they can still trust you. I have been your host, Christine Casina. We are here in studio at Little Cribs, the home of fun, exciting, and durable kids furniture. If you're looking for parenting information, head on to www.supermamas.co.ke. We thank you for your time, and we look forward to having you next time.